Hello?
Hey Mom, it's Dexter. So all three of us have been talking and we're moving back in this summer. We're gonna be on the patio. We're gonna be in the living room. We're gonna be in the pantry eating all your food. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Doug, the kids are coming back. We're moving to Florida. While I'm not quite ready to be a snowbird and live the retired life, it did get me thinking about those coming years for both myself and for elder parents. The first stop on my journey was to visit with an expert in downsizing. All right, we've been talking about aging with grace, and Cindy, I'd love for you to introduce us to a simpler way of downsizing. Tell me a bit about your company.
Well, I started the company about 13 years ago when my mom got sick and I had to transition her. So I decided that, once I had gone through all the steps, I thought, oh, this is pretty good. I think I'm going to start a company like this. So anyway, we basically help seniors downsize from the family home to usually independent living. And that means that they're moving from their house of 2,500 square feet to maybe 685 square foot, one bedroom. So we look at, packing everything that they want for their new home. The next day the movers come, the suite is set up, beds are made, cupboards are stocked, pictures are hung, lights are on when they come into the suite. So it's really their home as soon as they walk into it.
So Cindy, if you can give me first step to moving forward downsizing.
Well, first step would be they need to have a place where they're transitioning to, so that they can realize, okay, I live in a 2,500 square foot house, but I'm only moving to 685 square foot, one bedroom with a small kitchenette. Once you know what you've got, then you can figure out what you're going to take. And that's really important. And I always tell people the most important things you take to your new place are your memories. The little statue you bought when you were on your honeymoon, the pictures from, pictures, ornaments, that little trinkets that you picked up along the way. Because as we get older, we start to forget what our life was about. And then so you're looking, and now you've walked by the hutch and you go, oh, that little ballet dancer, I remember we bought that in Italy, right? And those are the things that help you with the
sharp.
That's right, keep you sharp.
Keep you sharp.
Yeah.
Now, when you're going through this process of helping them, starting to pack up and starting to edit a little bit, is that something that maybe you should look at? You do it slowly and sure, because I'm just wondering timelines. What's best for the transition?
Well, the first thing I tell my clients is pick up the phone and call your kids and tell them to get their stuff out of the house. Okay,
did you hear that? Get your stuff out of my house.
Because they have their trophies are downstairs,
Yes.
their yearbooks, their school jackets, their trunk from university that's been sitting there for 40 years.
Yeah.
Get that stuff out. Then I always say to them, the easiest thing to do, because it is an onerous task, start in the smallest room on the main floor. So let's just say it's the guest bedroom, right? Go in there and don't make it hard. Go in there for an hour and go through the dresser. Anything that you don't want, that no one uses, then put it in a clear bag and then send it off to charity. And that way, once you finish that room, it shouldn't take you long, a couple hours maybe, then close the door. That room is now done.
Nothing else goes in there.
Nothing goes in.
We're done.
We're done. And then you have a real relief. As, the weight is right off your shoulder because you go, okay, I've done one room. Now where do I go? So then you start with the next room. When your children are trying to help out, the biggest piece of advice I can give to anybody is that your parents do not want you to be their caregiver. They want you to be your daughter and your son. So when it's time, you need to get a caregiver for them if that's what they need. Somebody that can help them dress and help them put on their heavy pantyhose socks for, circulation and take them to the doctor and stuff like that. Because parents, they still have their own self.
They have their own identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they just, they do not want to download their medical problems to their children. So best piece of advice I can tell any kid who's 60 is
Any kid who's 60, I like how you put that.
is you want to be their child, not their caregiver.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Cindy gave me some very useful tips for how we can support our family and friends through transitions such as downsizing. It got me thinking about what can be done to stay in our forever homes and communities. I checked in with Anna and Jeremy, visited the community of Mahogany, and then met up with the Calgary Aging in Place Co-op.
Welcome. Today I'm doting on design elements found in ageless designs. Did you know that people over 65 outnumber children under 14 in Canada? Did you also know that Canadians are living longer and want to stay in their homes for as long as possible? Of course we do. We love our homes, we love our communities, and why shouldn't we have the opportunity to live wherever we want? Comfort, convenience, and safety are the primary concerns for people who are considering downsizing or modifying their homes so that day-to-day living remains a pleasure and not a chore. However, we need to start planning and renovating our homes so that they can accommodate for us when we want that extra comfort and ease. We do that with our financial portfolios. Why don't we do that within our own four walls? We call this aging in place, universal design, or what I like to call ageless design, because anyone of any age can use it. You may not think you need to make adjustments to your home, but trust me, the more proactive we can be about planning for the future, the better off we'll be. So what are some of the things we can do when we're considering our next renovation? How about backing the walls behind the showers and the bathrooms so that if you need to add an extra support, you don't have to tear down the wall to do that? Think about incorporating a beautiful bench in the shower. I also put in handheld showers, which have multiple uses. I really love walking into luxurious showers that have zero thresholds and no curbs to step over. Strip lights are fantastic in toe kicks in both bathrooms and kitchens for finding our way at night. Handrails are so important for staircases and landings. Make them a design feature. There are so many on the market right now. A few of my clients have roughed-in elevator shafts. Right now, they're used as closets, but down the road they can be easily transformed into a lift. The list is endless, so if you're thinking of living in your home forever, and you want to make it as comfortable for yourself, your friends, and your family, consult a certified aging in place specialist to see what you can do now, because later you're going to be too busy traveling, volunteering, or golfing. Thanks again for joining me at Fairmont Palliser. See you next time.
Hey Jeremy, we're talking about downsizing, and I've heard a term called reverse mortgages. Can you explain that a bit to me?
Kim, that's a great question. A reverse mortgage typically for those over the age of 55. And it's a great product for those looking to purchase or to simply put on an existing residence. It's available for those over the age of 55 and typically can go to a max of 50% loan to value. Now the difference between a traditional mortgage and a reverse mortgage is that in a traditional mortgage setting, you are paying down your balance and growing the equity component. In a reverse mortgage, what's happening is you're increasing the mortgage balance. Basically, you're trading an equity position for that payment. So the equity is going to service the mortgage payment, if you will. Now, if you want to pay principal and interest, or maybe make a payment for interest, you can do that as well. Again, a couple of benefits of the reverse mortgage is we can pull out a lump sum. And that lump sum you can use for medical expenses, to help family, begin a business, whatever you choose. We also have what's called an income advantage. So this will allow us to provide you with a steady income month over month, year over year. And one of the misconceptions is that the bank owns the home. And in fact, that is not true. So you remain ownership, and that mortgage becomes payable upon the death of the last survivor. For more information on this, don't hesitate to give us a call or look us up online at CanadaMortgageDirect.com.
I'm Doug Hayden, real estate agent with eXp Realty. Today I wanted to take you on a tour of a beautiful lake community called Mahogany. It's in the south of Calgary. It's an exceptional master plan community. It's got everything from the gorgeous lakeside living, which you'll see, the beaches, the boating, everything, all about kind of being at the lake. The whole community was designed around lake living. In terms of affordability, it's fairly easy to get in here. Condo living starts at just over $200,000, and you can move all the way up into luxury lakeside living, which is around us right now. It was designed in terms of when you're coming home, that you didn't have to leave the community. There's shopping, there's restaurants, there's everything you need locally and nearby. Great shopping center called The Village. Living here is what it's all about. The reason that people choose Mahogany is not just that lakeside living, but also the look and feel of the community. It's actually got one of the highest architectural standards of any community designed in Canada, and it actually exceeds almost all the density of any new neighborhoods in terms of how it's designed. So there's everything from condo living to home living. So just in terms of one of the communities in Calgary, Calgarians love lakeside living. We're in the deep south. There's several lake communities here. This one honestly is one of the most exceptional. When it's all built out, 30,000 people. Hope you enjoyed the tour, and if you have any questions, you can always get a hold of us.
Calgary Aging in Place Cooperative, Marianne Wilcat, thank you for having us out. We're in her lovely backyard, smelling the lilacs. And Marianne, can you give me a little bit of insight as to what is, because we're hearing this term, Aging in Place, what is Calgary Aging in Place Co-op?
What we want to do is keep people in their homes as long as possible, because happy people are healthy people. So if we can keep them in their homes, theoretically they should be happier, because what often happens with a senior especially is first they lose a spouse, then they lose their house because they can't keep it. When they lose the house, they lose their community, and that often leads to a loss of health. So we're trying to keep them in their homes, in their community, and keep them happy. We've realized they want housekeeping, home repairs, things like that. So we've tried to develop that connection for them so that when they have, for example, someone come in to clean their home or do plumbing or whatever, it's all been vetted through the police department. So somebody that I knew came to me and said, "We need a housing project in this community. What do you think of having a co-op where the homeowners don't have to sell their homes? They can stay in the home, put in a secondary suite, which is now popular in Calgary, and stay in the home with more help. Possibly the tenant could maybe help with repairs around the house or yard work or whatever like this." And I thought it was a great idea. At the time that I joined the co-op, I was we. Now I'm me. So my life has changed dramatically. And one of the first things I learned is I don't know how to change the light bulb in the kitchen. My husband did everything. I let him, and I enjoyed it. And I don't know how to do anything, so I need a lot of help.
What would be like your top 3 tips that you could offer somebody who's just starting this journey?
One thing I know is that even though it's we to me, you still have to have a life of your own. You have to look after the things that you like to do. Don't give them up. Like I mentioned before, I've been belly dancing. You've got to keep active. It doesn't matter what you do, just do it. You don't have to walk fast, you don't have to run. Just get out and do it. Keep your interest in life.
It's the Calgary Aging in Place Cooperative, and you have lovely people like Marianne here that can help guide you. Next on my journey, I stopped in at the Kirby Center to find out about all the resources available for those entering their golden years. Then followed that up with some advice from our experts.
The Kirby Center is the place where people come to learn about aging. So they learn fitness, they learn a new language, they come here and be safe. So we have a shelter for those going through elder abuse. We also have fun, so we have a lot of fitness classes and social activities, and we want to make sure that people aren't isolated. So we're really trying to address the whole person. So we have a housing directory and a seniors directory so that you can not have to run around to every single location or call every single location. You can do that through a one-stop shop here at Kirby Center. When you've done that and you engage your family, you're going to have a higher level of success because everyone is committed to the plan. So you have to be aware that it's hard for you to bring up these conversations, and it's also hard for your parents, by the way, to hear that, because we all deal with our own aging in a different way. So first of all, have just a general conversation, and because probably if you're thinking about it, they're thinking about it. So then you can come together as a team to say, although we don't need the resources, maybe we need to find out what is out there. So if we need them, either on a longer term or short term basis, that we would have it at our fingertips. Takes away a lot of the stress. So let's start there, Mom and Dad, and let's sort of tell me what you think you need next in the future. The other thing that we always ask people to do is think about when people have a lot of possessions, so you've lived in your big home while you're raising your children and doing all those things, you have tons of stuff. When people downsize and go into a smaller place or a new place, they often want to take really important possessions that may or may not be important to you. It's important to honor that because you can't imagine living without your things. Neither can your parents. Even though they're going into a smaller place, it needs to be still their identity that goes with them. So we encourage people to come and volunteer. We really want people to give back to us what they have learned so that we can carry that forward and continue that legacy.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kahane of Kahane Law Office, and I'm here to talk to you today about what happens with an aging population and real property, their people's houses. Well, a lot of people will try to avoid probate by putting one of their kids on title. And this has a lot of unintended consequences. For instance, some of the other beneficiaries to someone's estate, the other kids, might not receive anything or very little under the estate. There's other situations where debt enforcement or inability of the child to get a mortgage. There's a lot of reasons why you want to talk to a lawyer to find out the downside to this. And the upside, people wanted to avoid paying a probate fee, and people wanted to avoid the length of time it takes to get probate done. In Alberta, the probate fee right now caps at about $300, so it's not a huge amount of money. And the government implemented a new system that allows for an express probate of just the house, but it only takes 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not that big a deal. What should people do? People should get a power of attorney or an enduring power of attorney. This is a document that lets the kids or anyone else that the parent trusts deal with their assets, their house, their bank accounts, all those things. They still have control until they no longer can make decisions for themselves, and someone else can take up where they've left off. That's all for now. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Jason Chupik, and I'm here to talk to you about homeowner maintenance and how important it is. The most important thing I find is that you know where your main water shutoff in your house is. Might look something like this. And in case of emergency, this is the first place you want to go. I do suggest going downstairs and finding it and seeing if it shuts off or not. If you live in an older house, what we find is that it might get all corroded and calcified up, and it might not work. So it's a good thing to check before there is an emergency. Secondly, we've got humidifiers. Humidifiers have a yearly filter in them. As the water passes through, they can also get very calcified up. So it's very important that you change that pad every year. They also have this summer and winter switch. So a lot of people don't know that you actually turn your humidifier off during the summer months because there's a lot of humidity in warm air. So if you have a lot of hardwood in your home and a lot of wood in your home that you want to protect, even pianos, very good to check with your provider how much humidity that you would require for your home. The next piece I'd like to say is with air cleaners. A lot of time people have about a 1-inch air cleaner, but it can go up to 4 inches, and then there's many other types. This type is a 4-inch pleated filter, and they're rated in MERVs. These are great filters to have, and they need to be cleaned about every 6 months. If you're in a new area though, and it's very dusty, or a dusty area, you definitely want to be changing these more often and having a look. One important thing though is to always make sure that you have a very snug fit. You don't want air passing through, because then dust and particulates are getting through and the filter's not doing its job. Lastly, you might have a piece of equipment in your basement called an HRV. The HRV stands for heat recovery ventilator. They're usually typically found in newer homes. They have a permanent filter that needs to be cleaned annually, so very good to pay attention to that as well. So while looking after your filters and your yearly maintenance is important, it's also important to have it done by a qualified HVAC provider. That way you can get the maximum out of your warranties and ensure that you have it done correctly. So thank you very much for coming to the Home Comfort Corner, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
Hi, I'm Egbert with Diamond Home Inspection, proud member of APHIS, and I'm here today to talk to you about decks. It's coming up on deck season. We all want to make sure that our decks are safe. One of the first things that I look for during a deck inspection is making sure the guardrails are all secure, well attached, and I want to make sure that any openings in the guardrail aren't big enough to allow a child to fall through. Rule of thumb is if it's bigger than my fist, I need to double check its size. Let's go check out the stairs and underneath the deck. Stair safety is also important. Part of your maintenance, you want to make sure there's no rot, everything is stable, flat and secure. And like before, you want to make sure that your guardrails are secure, openings aren't too big, and let's make sure our handrails come all the way down so Grandma and the kids have something to hang on to. Let's go check under the deck. When you get under your deck, as part of your maintenance, you want to be looking at the base of your posts, making sure that there isn't any rot. We want to make sure that our decks are properly well supported. A configuration like this, which lacks a below ground concrete pier, means our deck isn't really well supported. One of the other things I look for is the joist hangers. I want to make sure that the proper fasteners have been used and that all the holes have been filled. This has been Egbert for Diamond Home Inspection and APHIS. Have a great deck season. Bye.
This forward-thinking journey had me all fired up for a little escape and relaxation. All right, today's all about escaping and having some fun, and where better but at Fire Escape. Kate, thanks for having me in. Super excited.
No problem.
So, Kate, tell me a little bit about Fire Escape.
Fire Escape has been in existence for 22 years. We moved to Bowness roughly 8 years ago, and that's where this facility has been in existence.
And what all does Fire Escape encompass? What do you do here?
Well, that's been an evolution. At the very beginning, what we were was a studio that dealt only with what's called bisqueware. So the white items that you're going to see on the shelves, that's all clay, ceramic that people can paint. But we're moving into actually hand building our items now, as well as casting.
Really?
So we can actually show people how the products are made, and to be proud to say also that they're made in Bowness. And then at that point, we're kind of creative partners with the people who are painting them.
I have to say, I want to see the frog.
This is a classic. So in a sense, it has its own story. Everybody's got a grandmother who's had a scrubby frog. What we can do is, very simply, we can cut into it. And then after this goes and gets fired, somebody can paint it into something really quite gorgeous. The other guy that I've got is my gargoyle frog. Same frog, everybody, but we've added clay elements to it to kind of give him his own little personality with this lovely tail back here. I love how people come in here and they start out feeling really uncertain about what they do, and then we kind of get into it with them, we start encouraging them, and they see their first piece out of the kiln, and it's just a little extra spark, and they're saying to themselves, hang on, maybe I can do this.
And you know, Kate, bear with me, and you have to laugh after I do this.
Okay.
I remember people. There's no time like the present to make something, create something, and spend time with friends and family.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kate, for having me.
That's perfect. Thank you, Kim.
Aging with Grace, one of the things we need to do is take care of ourselves, right? I am here with my good friend Brianna. Brianna is the lovely owner of Swizzle Stick Salon Spa. What's your number? You always say one thing to me about making sure. What is that?
Protect your skin from the sun.
Protect your skin.
Number one prevention.
Because you're actually like 64, right?
Yeah, I'm 98 actually.
98.
I know.
So tell me a little bit, you've revamped your space over the last year or so. You've top to bottom. Tell me why you wanted to, what was the message you wanted to bring forward with your salon and spa?
Yeah, definitely with the spa. It began with the spa renovation. It was feeling just a little bit dated, a little bit old, and I feel like that was probably coming through with the guests. Like they were probably
nobody
just
wants to
feeling a
feel
little
dated
shabby,
and old,
right? Like
no.
you don't want to come into a space that's feeling
old,
dusty.
We want it
so
clean.
It started with that, and we just wanted a really nice, clean, welcoming space for rejuvenation and restoration.
Okay, so you use two words, rejuvenation and restoration.
Yeah.
Give me kind of your philosophy behind those.
Yeah, just to kind of have self-care. So we always want you to come in and be able to have time to care for yourself, but also, you know, take some time at home and be able to restore at home. And we always like to set you up with a skin regimen, and so you have a little bit of the spa at home too.
One of the things that you guys are very eco-friendly here, so you have a lot of natural products. Are we seeing an uptick on those types of products, and how is that message getting to maybe those of us who are 50 and over versus I think a lot of the millennials and younger, they're already on that train, right? But how do you transition people over?
Yeah, I think there's an age shift where it really isn't part of that lingo. It's not been there the whole time, like a millennial's known forever. I think as long as for that crowd, as long as the product actually works and shows results, it doesn't matter if it's green or if it's full of petroleum products. They just want something that works. So if something works good without having all the bad, why would you use the bad?
Absolutely. So a little bit of re-education there. Now on your salon spa, here at Swizzle Sticks, I heard that there was this like huge number of what is the percentage of recyclables in there? Like it's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, so tell me a little bit about your eco-friendly and your approach.
So we work with a company called Green Circle Salons, and they actually recycle and divert 90% of our waste. So this includes hair. We actually send the hair clippings to Reman Center in Winnipeg, and they make oil booms out of that. And the cool thing about an oil boom made out of human hair is that you can squeeze out the oil, reclaim the oil, and then reuse the boom.
What are we going to do today? Today's a facial.
Yes, today you are getting the Sublime Skin Facial, which is a brand new facial. Swizzle Sticks recently launched Comfort Zone Skincare, which is a beautiful line from Italy. And it is a gorgeous, eco-friendly line. They're B Corp certified, which is amazing. And you are getting the Mac Daddy of all anti-age facials today.
All right, Saxon, super excited. What are we doing?
So we're doing the Sublime Skin Deluxe Lift Facial. So this is really good for aging skin, wrinkles, overall luminosity and tone. There's lots of exfoliation with it, and you're going to have an active lift massage at the end, really lifting everything and finishing off with some nice massage techniques.
All this talk of aging had me yearning for that midlife crisis. Maybe I should get a sports car. Homes and Lifestyles Canada is an independent production made possible with the support of Kahane Law, A&A Interiors, Canada Mortgage Direct, APIS, Canyon Plumbing and Heating, and EXP Realty. Wardrobe provided by Bellissima and Nygaard. Hair and makeup by Swizzle Stick Salon Spa. Be sure to stay connected with us for behind the scenes and amazing giveaways at homesandlifestyles.ca and visit us online, Facebook, and Instagram.